Hello, everybody. This is the first time I've ever done a live stream, just ever. If you're watching this and you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Will. I used to do like more YouTube stuff, and then occasionally every few years try and do YouTube stuff, and I never get very far. I sort of do it for a bit and then stop. So this is my latest attempt to do it for a bit and then probably stop. And I thought I'd include some live streaming with it. So just going to have a bit of a chat, bit of a hangout. If there are any questions, then we can have some questions. And the main thing that I'm trying to do at this point during this stream is I've got a couple of gigs coming up that I need to expand my pedalboard setup for two slightly different gigs that I've got coming up. So I've got a new pedalboard. I'll show you in a bit. And I've got an old pedalboard, and I've got to put some new pedals on it, and lots of pedal-related stuff. So that's what we're going to do. We'll see how it goes. I probably am lacking at least some of the stuff that I need, like the equipment and actually like leads and things. So it'll be a learning process. We'll see how far we get. If we get stuck, then we'll just end. But otherwise, we'll keep it casual. We'll have a nice little chat, and we'll just go from there. So yeah, hi. This is what I picked up today. So I'm based in London, and I popped over to Denmark Street earlier today, my favourite place in London. It's a street just full of guitar shops. It's wicked. And West Side Music, West Side Guitars, are sponsored by one of the people who are distributors for Pedal Train. So I picked up this today, which is quite cool. Looks a bit like a briefcase. I get to look like a bit of a businessman. And inside, it has got everything I should need. Everything I should need. And yeah, oh, by the way, as you're coming in, say hi. If you know who I am, then say hi. Don't know who I am, also say hi. We're going to have a bit of a chat while I'm building this this pedal board. So yeah, if at any point anyone's just joining, I am constructing a pedal board and having a bit of a chat. So here we go. I have got, this opens up. Inside we have this thing, which is the actual board itself. We have some associated bits. That's velcro as a shoulder strap, and I think cable ties. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to get rid of that, and we're going to have a look. Hello, Jack of Trades. How are you? I hope you're having a nice little weekend. I didn't say at the start of the stream. I hope everyone's having a lovely weekend. And it's just been relaxing. It's been insanely hot here in London, and it's sort of broken a bit, and it's been raining on and off. So it's quite sort of relaxing and refreshing at this point. So I hope everyone's good. So as I said, I've got to replace or upgrade and expand my existing pedal board, which is this thing. This is a little Moore board. And this has served me really, really well. But the last few acquisitions that I've made for pedals have meant that I've had to start making some compromises. And I'd like to not have to make any compromises while I do this. So the main thing is I've just bought this DOD Volume Pedal, and it's wicked. But that means that I can't also have my Boss OC5 Octave on. Now, the two different gigs that I've got coming up, one of them is a couple of them, I've got three different gigs actually. Two of them are improv music ones, so they're ones where I'm going to be sort of doing some soundtrack work, just laying down some ambient pad sounds and sort of soundtrack stuff. And we're going to be doing lots of nice things with that. So it'd be nice to have all of the reverbs and the delays and the volume swells alongside having the Octave. That would be really, really nice. But then I've also got another one where I'm going to be playing kind of background music for a cider festival. And for that, I would like to have a version of this where I can have my loop station so I can make backing tracks for myself. That'll be really, really cool. I've got to keep an eye on the chat there. Middle of the dry season, Jack. different shades of hot every day. Whereabouts are you based? Is that that sounds kind of America-y? Are you America? Dry seasons are not really a thing that we have here, I suppose. Middle East, way off. That is definitely not the US. How long do the dry seasons last out there? That's the sort of next question there. And so, like, is this one of the ones where, yeah, it's very, very far off. Does it like last for a really, really long time? And then does it sort of dramatically break, or does it sort of ease off? 8 months. That's a lot of the year to be dry. That's no good. That's no good. Well, I hope this is bringing some, I don't know, not it's not bringing any moisture to you, is it? I'm just gonna, while we're chatting, just gonna pull that out. That is, let's say, pedal train. This is the pedal train Metro 16. So if we compare this to this one, if I get it the right way around, it's a little bit longer and it's obviously got an extra layer. So it's not quite going to be 2 layers because they'll be going across, but I should be able to fit a few more pedals onto this than I have on here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to check other socials as I was going through. That's fine. As I said, I've never done a live stream before, so I'm not expecting really anyone to be watching, but you gotta put it out there and see how it goes. Jack, are you also a musician at all? Are you a guitar player? While you're typing out your extremely important answer, I'm going to start de-velcroing these. So part of the joy of most pedal boards is the velcro. So probably run through, actually, should probably first of all run through what it is that I've got on this board and that I'm starting. So the goals of this. So I've got a little EQ pedal, nothing particularly fancy. It's just by Moa, little graphic EQ, 5-band. I would like a bigger EQ, maybe like a 7 or 10 band one, but EQs are EQs. They're pretty much all do the same thing. They just have different sliders or twisty knobs. So little EQ just gives me a little bit of tonal stuff. And I've got this volume pedal, and that just means that I can go no volume at all volume, and then everything in between. And the fact that that is before the Cloudburst, which is Strowman's new ambient reverb, and the delay means that means you can sort of have a washy chord, have that kind of like be washing out, and you can then have things fading in over the top of it, and it just works so nicely. And this one that I jumped the gun and took off straight away is the TC Electronic Infinite Sample Sustainer. It's a few different versions of this kind of effect. There was the Game Changer Audio Plus pedal, the one that looks like a piano pedal, and I think Boss do one as well. But it's literally you press the button and it just sustains the note you're playing forever. So we've got the Velcro on the back and the corresponding Velcro on here. Jack, you say you subscribed way back when I made skits. Optional Pie was an absolute classic. I think Optional Pie was when I was properly just leaning into let's just be weird, let's just write weird stuff. And you came for the joke, stay for the music. That's the hope, really. One day I might go back to the jokes. I do improv comedy, so I still got the comedy stuff going on, but obviously not the sketches. I just over time have got so much further into just loving music and wanting to do music all the time. I just couldn't sustain. Even now, I can't sustain like multiple hobbies. I'm meant to be running like a D&D campaign and all these different things, like building a whole world and like it's meant to be like drawing pictures and all that type of stuff. But every time I get obsessed with like a new thing, I'm always at the back of my head like, it's taking time away from guitar and music. That's really, really what I want to do. So maybe I'll go back one day to doing the old optional Pi skits and stuff like that. Maybe, but I've just fallen in love with the music. Fallen in love with the music. It is my passion. It is my passion. That is absolutely it. And it's been a while. It's been a while since I've done a sort of like written comedy of any kind. Right, that one's off. The delay is a Walrus Audio. It's my first Walrus Audio device. It's an ARP87 delay, and it's wicked actually. So it's got it's all backwards. It's got a level. It's got a dampening thing, so it sort of like changes the EQ basically of the signal. You've got repeats, so the number of times that it repeats. So that would be like a slapback delay, just like repeating it once. That basically means it will just go on forever. We've got the ratio, so it's just how short the delays are. That's sort of how long the pause is. X is like a modulation thing, so it sort of makes the repeats wobble a bit. And then we've got 4 different settings. We've got digital, so D for digital, A for analog. Yes, it is this giant nerd. Yep. Hello, I'm a big giant nerd. And we've got lo-fi, and we've got a dedicated slapback there. So there you go. This is wicked. This came out of, it's over there. I've got shelves and shelves of pedals over there. I've got really into my pedals, guys. And it came out of having a reverb pedal that had a delay built into it. And I just love the delay so much. I was like, I'm going to get a proper delay pedal. So there you go. Sama, how are you? You good? We've just been talking about effectively what I'm doing is building up a new pedal board and having a chat and seeing what live streaming is all about. We've had a lot of hot weather here, and we've just been talking about it's been a dry season. It's the dry season still in the Middle East. Yeah, you good? We're just having a little hangout, basically. The next one, if I can actually get this off. It's a good thing with Velcro can actually be really, really sticky. This is, as I said, the Strowman Cloudburst. So it's got decay, which just means how long it decays for, so how long the reverb lasts. We've got the mix, it's just the level of it. Pre-delay means that it's sort of like how long it waits until it starts doing the reverb, which can be quite cool. Tone, just a tone pedal, and then mod, again, like a modulation, makes it all wobble. But it's got this really, really cool thing there, which is the ensemble mode, which basically makes it sound like there's like strings and stuff. It's really, really cool. Really, really cool. Very, very powerful piece of kit. 4:30 a.m. and you're up for work. That's a pretty heroic effort. That is a pretty heroic effort. There you go. And winter down there is winter down in, because you're in Australia. Winter down there is not the equivalent of winter here, is it? It's still winter in Oz is still pretty nice as far as I gather. Is it? I've got to figure out how I balance the chatting, like our autumn. Yeah, that makes sense. That actually would be quite nice. I love autumn in the UK, but it's always really, really short-lived. And it seems like we've got a really long winter and a really long spring, and then summer or autumn just kind of go really, really fast. So actually, a whole winter's worth of autumn would be wicked, actually. As I said before, DOD Volume Pedal. This is my latest acquisition. It's really, really cool. It's also passive. It doesn't require any power, which is really, really good. And then if I can get this one up, our little Moore EQ pedal. So those are the ones that have come off come off this. So we'll chuck that onto the floor because, of course, the ones I'm going to try and get onto this alongside those, again, we're going to do two different versions of this. The one for the improv comedy ones, I'm going to put this on, which is a little Saturn. Is it Saturn audio? It's passive, again, that requires no power. It's just a mixer, so you can put two different inputs in, and it'll just mix them into one output, which you think it's a bit weird. Kind of designed so that you can have two people plugging in to the same rig, which is really cool. But actually, what I got it for is for this thing, which I'll make like a whole video about. Again, I've done such little YouTube over the years that I've got like huge amounts of stuff to talk about. But this has two outputs. So it's got these two outputs. And they both sound really different from each other. So one's a piezo system and one's a humbucker, like a jazz humbucker, this thing. Kent Armstrong? Yeah. And it just means I can put both of them into one and blend them and have like the ultimate signal, basically. So that would be really, really nice. That's going to be a nice to have, I think. It's not essential. We can make everything work without it, but that would be nice to have. And it is very small. It's the same size enclosure as the Moore EQ there. So I would love to put the good flourish. I'd love to put this on OC5. Boss make amazing pedals. Is this not just the coolest thing in the whole world? As I'm going to do I'm going to talk about this a whole lot more in the future, but it really is it's just a block of guitar, and it's got a really cool thing on the back. I won't show you yet. I love it. It's my cheapest guitar, and it's my favorite guitar. So the OC5, it's just an octave pedal. It's very similar to the EHX, the Electro Harmonix Micropod, where you got a dry signal, you got a low octave, and you got a high octave, and it goes on and off. The difference here is that it's got let's see if I can show you. It's got a range thing there. So basically it means that if you turn it up, more notes are included. Basically higher and higher notes are included as the low octave. So I like to set it really low so that only like the root notes of what you're playing have the low octave on them. So you can still play nice, clean, high note things whilst also having a bit of a chunky low thing. This going into the sustainer can mean you've got this really, really nice deep pad at the bottom of things that you can improvise over. It's really, really cool. So I'd love to get that on. It's just a really, really powerful thing. This is a nice to have, but not essential. This is an EHX Qtron, which is an envelope filter. It's the thing that goes wow, 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 wow. It's like a wah, auto wah, basically. So it's a wah, but you don't have to do that with it. It's wicked. Don't really need it on either of these pedals, but it's cool. I would love to have some kind of overdrive, though, again, not essential. But if there's space, then I'll put an overdrive. It will probably be either mini tube screamer. You can't go wrong with a mini tube screamer. It's just a tube screamer, but small. Or this, which is a cymbal overdrive. This is based on like a Dumble style circuit. So if you know anything about guitar amps, Dumble amps are just proper good. And this kind of mimics that kind of circuitry. And it's really nice. That can just be nice to add some like warmth to the whole tone. And you can drive it a little bit more if you want to get dirty with it. And then possibly something that'd be good fun is this little Moore sort of mod. It's the Moore Mod Factory Mark II, which is really cool. It's basically got lots of different modulation effects in there. I'm only just getting into modulation, So I'm still quite new to it. I got this to try and test them out. The issue with it is the power source is sunk back in a really, really weird way. So I don't think my power supply and my like normal little power leads are going to cut it for that. So I might not be able to do that. Might not be able to use it. And then the other one, other than the loop station, we've seen the loop station. It's massive. I probably only need the smaller version of this, but this is one I bought ages ago. Gave it to my brother, and I've just got it back off him because of this gig coming up. But then also maybe some kind of DI. And this is one of my LR Bags DIs. Can be, depending on the venue, absolutely indispensable. I've got this, and I've got the big one as well. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to keep. But yeah, got that as well. Might be something to put on. Also, that one already has a whole load of Velcro on the back. So good. We've got probably not enough of this type of cable. These are cheap as hell. These are cheap as hell, but they've got nice low profile things there. Other than those, I've got a whole bunch of these, which obviously doesn't look like much, but the thickness of that takes up a lot more real estate on the pedal board. So we'll see how we go. We might need to go and get some more of these little ones. And I think that's it. The only other thing that I'm going to need to put on is the power supply, which I should be able to mount to the back. It's kind of got a bit of a recess there for the power supply. And for a power supply, I've got my Strowman Ojai system, which, if this is a horrific way of storing it, don't at me. You know, I don't care. I should care. So I've got plenty of these things. I'm going to have to max out the outputs of this. And I've got some daisy chain cables as well. And it's got this extra bit too, which makes it a little bit more clumsy. But there you go. There you go. While we're doing this, if anyone's got any questions at all relating to guitar pedals, music, me, or just anything, you know, anything about politics, then yeah, I can talk about stuff. I know things. You can ask me questions. The first thing I want to do, yeah, you can ask me the questions as soon as you figure out how you can. I think you just type. Let's get the Velcro out. So this comes with. I didn't realize it did come with this because I've already got loads of Velcro. Yeah, first world problems. Why was Boris Johnson such a great PM? Pass. It's a trick question. Yeah, no, Boris Johnson, for the context. Oh, this is cool. It's sort of sealed with an extra little bit of stuff there. Yeah. If it's not obvious by the fact that I'm a musician, therefore pretty much guaranteed to be left-wing. I'm very left-wing, and Boris's downfall recently has been absolutely hilarious. Couldn't happen to a nicer man. And you know what? Fuck him. Just, yeah. Good on that report and the people who wrote it to actually expose him for what he is. I don't have a pair of scissors. I will be right back. Do I have a pair of scissors? I did have a pair of scissors and I took them off my table. I'll be right back with a pair of scissors. You can admire my excellent summery shorts. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I have scissors. It's always good when you know exactly where you put stuff. I also live by myself, so if you see anyone moving around back there, you're going to watch me basically get mugged or worse. They're pretty good. These were actually secondhand. These were from a charity shop. I think they're like Hugo Boss or something. I'm not super into clothes, but good. They're good summery shorts. They're also far too big for my waist, so I am belted up. I'm very, very belted up. So what I'm doing here, just because you probably should see this, here is a roll of the fuzzy side of, I don't even know, you can see that it's the fuzzy side of Velcro. I'm going to lay it down across all three of these bars. It's measured out thickness wise, so you can see that it is the right thickness. So that is what I'm doing here. If this was a real pro setup, I'd have like another camera pointing down. We'd be able to like switch between. That'd be good. That would be good. But I am merely an enthusiastic amateur. So here we go. There is a cut. In fact, I might just tilt the camera down. See that? See how that works? That actually works. A bit of a weird angle. Let's make it straight on. Move my rubbish little keyboard. Look at that. That's wicked. You can see all the stuff I've got on the floor. So here we go. If this is a horrifically, really, really horrible camera angle, then say, and I'll move it back up to my face. But otherwise, this just means you can get to see everything. So cut that to the correct length. Let's actually that's fine. We don't need to cut everything first. That is so satisfying. I'm going to try not to let it stick to itself. And we're going to line that up with the top there. There you go. Beautiful. That is pretty much spot on, actually. Let me also get some more light down here. Vaguely, just about some more light. I'm going to do that again for there. So we end up with quite a lot of, I call it real estate. We get quite a lot of usable space on this. I was looking at I think it's the Dario make, is it the Expand series? They're ones where they're sort of set into themselves and you can actually pull out like an entire extra section of pedalboard. So I did have a look at those, but ultimately I was on Denmark Street earlier today and thought, you know what? That'll do. That is so fiddly. Here you go, another good peel. Pow. Excellent. Again, it's attaching to itself. Here we go. So yeah, as I said, if anyone's got any questions, anyone who's watching, just let me know. If you're watching this in the future, then hello from the past. And if you're wondering why there's no there's not much going on in the way of questions and answers, it's because this is my first time I've ever done one of these live streams, and I basically didn't advertise it. So wasn't really expecting anyone to be here, and the fact that there are a couple of people here is lovely. I'm very, very grateful to all three. Apparently there's a third person who hasn't said anything yet, but yeah, here we go. I used to do if I'd done live streaming, I'll move you back up. You don't want to see me do that, like the whole thing. Oh, look at that, good curl. If I started doing these, God, in like 2012, 2013, back when I actually had an audience, I'd been unstoppable. And it would have been terrifically, yes, yeah, the third person. Actually, as you said, hi Will's mum there, Sana. a fourth person joined. So maybe that was my mum. You know, maybe. Mum, if you're here, hello. I love you very much. But it is Father's Day, so you should go and put my dad on. Ryan is my mum. It is my mum. My mum, Ryan. Hello, Ryan. You just caught us. We've just successfully. I never call because I'm embarrassed that my mum is called Ryan. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with a mum called Ryan. I'm gonna walk away from that failed attempt at a joke. Actually, before I get cancelled. My father. I spoke to my dad earlier. It is Father's Day. Has everyone spoken to their dad today? Has everyone called their dad? So we see we have successfully fuzzified our pedal board there. We have a roll of the correspondingly non-fuzzy stuff there. Now, a thing you have to be aware of with pedal board making is, God, we've got a few more people joining. A thing that you have to be sort of vaguely aware of with pedal board making is order of pedals. I'm probably gonna have to like Google a bunch of stuff while we go. It is Northern Hemisphere Father's Day. I'm sorry to discriminate. When's Australian Father's Day? We're gonna learn some stuff today. Yeah, it is a bit weird that you'd think that it'd be, because America's Father's Day and Mother's Day are different, isn't it? It should just be international. If I were the world king, this probably wouldn't be anywhere near the top of my list of priorities. So, what we want to do, the fathers go, the fathers go spin round the plug hole backwards in the southern hemisphere. I like that. And there's no. Do you mind me asking, Jack of Trades? Do you mind me asking which country you're in there? You did say Middle East. Just out of curiosity, if you're not comfortable with that, then that's totally fine. So I say pedal order is going to be something I have to contend with. Now, what I understand of it is that, I mean, this would need to go first. In fact, rather than me try and just gamble. I'm trying to think of whatever the word there is. Sort of muddle my way through there. Let's have a look at pedal order for guitar. Guitar pedals. Setting up your effect signal chain. Now, the reason why effect signals chains are important is because you set up everything in series rather than parallel. So I don't know if parallel guitar pedal thing, like guitar pedals a thing. But if you're setting up everything in series, it means that, for example, if you put an octave into a distortion, I can't remember which way around, but if you put an octave into a distortion, the distortion will be distorting the low octave, which is a slightly different thing to if you put a distortion into an octaver, which is then the octaver would be octaving the distortion. Likewise with like your modulations and things. So I think generally speaking, what we go for, I've got some little things, little diagrams coming up here. What we want is compressors and volume pedals and things first. So that's guitar straight into those. Then we want things like wah pedals. So if I'm putting this in, I should go pretty early on. This helps us lay all this out. You can't just put them all in all over the place. Then your overdrive. There's a whole other thing that I don't really understand about gain stages, but if I'm just doing one overdrive, apart from the 5 other like distortions and fuzz pedals and stuff I've got over there, I've got a wrap. This is cool, by the way. I'm not doing this today, but I've got a little wrap pedal, which is I'll do a whole thing about this, but it's wicked. Little wrap. Then we want things like choruses and tremolos, so your modulations. So again, they come after your overdrives. And then you want to have like your time-based delays, time-based things. So when we say time-based, we mean things like delays and reverbs, things that mess around with the time of the signal. So there you go. I'm just going to catch up on what the chat's been doing. You changed Mother's Day to Family Day. I mean, that's efficient. That is efficient. You get rid of you get rid of the two different ones, and you make Family Day, which is more inclusive. Actually, I could get behind that. International Family Day rather than a specific Mother's Day and a Father's Day. Yeah, I think I like that. Well, again, I'll add that to the list for when I'm World King. That'll be good. And yes, it is tradition that you fail to remember the date, and then you panic. I think that's kind of the. I had a thing recently where I've been so reliant for so many years on Facebook to tell me when everyone's birthdays are, that recently called up, and he's fine with this. It was funny. I hope it was funny. We've continued talking since this, but one of my best mates, it was his birthday the other day, and I called him, and on his birthday, not remembering it was his birthday, I just had to call him about something else. I just had to ask him some other questions and like catch up with him, and then found out halfway through the phone call that it was his birthday. So I think it is tradition to just fail to remember any important dates. I only know when things like Father's Day are because all the shops start selling Father's Day cards and stuff, but they don't actually say the date of it. They just say Father's Day is coming up. You're like, cool, yeah. What day is it? Don't just sort of hint that it's on the way. Tell me. So what do you know? So we're going to start off. We're going to lay this out. We're going to pop back down to this view. Get rid of my rolls of sticky stuff. Chuck those over there. So we're going to say that, and we probably want things to go. So here is, if we say this corner is out to a guitar, and if we say that if it go round, it would have to go round, wouldn't it? Probably this corner goes out to the guitar, and probably this goes out to the amp. No, but it can't. So pedals, I'm going to get really confused by this. Pedals have an inside and they have an outside. Obviously, they have an inside and an outside. This is the outside. They have one side of it is for in, and one side is for out. Now, out is pretty much, as far as I'm aware, universally on that side, unless some pedals have them like that. So, have a good evening. Have a good evening. Sam's on his way out. So some pedals have them on either side. Some pedals have them on the top. Some of them have them on the top, up and down like that. So I don't know if we'll be able to go across and then loop around there and then keep going across like that, or if it will have to go around like that. Let's mess about and find out. So if we say that this, and any ones where I can save some of the middle would be good. So this one already has Velcro on. Let's say that we're putting that on there. We don't have a compressor because who needs a compressor? You know, what's that all about? Let's say we do that, then that. So mixer going into volume pedal. I think that works. Let's just say, for the sake of that, we'll pop the Qtron on. It would be fun to have it. We'll just see how we go. Then we'd say overdrive. Now, the issue with this overdrive, it's got little feet on it. And I don't think that will necessarily... Oh, that could go off the edge, or I could do it in the middle. That might not work because of that. So that might need to be the little tube screamer, which would save space. A lot of the time, these ones with little feet you can take off. Like these are the feet from this, which you just unscrew. So there you go. We're learning. That one might not work, but that might. In fact, let me just see what other distortions have I got that might work. It's basically just this. So I've got you see. So I've got this, which is a clon. If anyone knows anything about clon centaurs and clon pedals, legendary circuit. This is, it's probably cost me like £100. Proper clon centaurs go up for like £5,000 or £6,000. It's exactly the same circuit. The guitar pedal world and market is absolutely insane and ridiculous. So then we want to have our modulation stuff, and we're probably not going to do modulation. As I said, this is cool, but I don't think it's going to work with the power supply that we've got. So I don't think there's any other modulation pedals that I want to get in here. Nah. Modulation is a whole world I haven't really got into yet. So we'll go with that. Let's say that. Then we're going to want our time-based stuff. So we haven't put in our octave. Where should this go? I would assume it should go there. Let's have a look. Let's do a little Google. Octave pedal order. Board. Where to place an octave pedal in the signal chain? Let's go straight to images. The images tend to be pretty great. Yeah, octave pedal after a volume pedal. So this is one of the ones I definitely want on here. So I'm going to pop that there. And we'll say that that is going to be possibly our top row. EQ pedal. I forgot the EQ. Forgot this little guy. Now, where should that go? Let's take a look at EQ. My thinking is it should probably go like there. Let's try EQ pedal there. If anyone's watching who knows loads about all of this and thinks I'm being an idiot, then that is fine by me. Oh, okay. So EQ pedals can basically go anywhere. All right. I want this to be like an overall EQ. Now you're just watching my face as I'm doing this. In front of distortion or gain bass effects. Before or after pedals. Front of your compressor. I'm not using a compressor, so that doesn't really make any. I don't have an effects loop. Where does EQ pedal go in the chain? In front of the gain bass effects. Again, I might not be even using that. All right, EQ pedal. Yeah, I reckon actually probably EQ before octave. That's okay. So EQ pedal before octave pedal. Let's go. These are the questions. I'm currently looking at Talk Bass. There's some good forums. The world of forums is still very much alive in guitar pedals. So before, yeah, right. Okay, so let's shift that back off. Let's go volume, EQ, octave, and let's just check where. Let's use my proper keyboard. Envelope filter. Pedal order. What does the internet reckon I should do with this? Envelope builder. People like it at the start. Okay, front of the chain. Yeah, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. So that means that is potentially what we're doing with the top layer here. So we're doing the improv one. We're doing the soundtrack one first. So the next ones we want to put on here are going to be these ones. Now the issue here, as you can see, is these are all quite large pedals. Now those are the wrong way around anyway. I've already got a feeling none of this is going to end up working as I would like it to. That needs to go in that corner anyway. God, this must be incredibly fun for everyone watching. I mean, it must be. If you're actually watching this, presumably you're watching it in the future, then that means that this must be very, very interesting for you. Octave, Qtron. Now, any of these that could be always on, because you can always turn them sideways as well. Who knows? Who knows? All I know is I want to have a bunch of nice stuff. We'll have this last. So if I were to let's do a little test here. I've got a bunch of different sizes. I've got a bunch of different sizes of link cable. So I've got these little ones. I've got these longer ones. Those are actually the same size, so that's good. So that's the longest short cable that I've got. So if we, for example, said we want to get from there, probably under the board. Again, please don't crucify me if you actually know what you're doing. I'm horrified by all of this. I can already see why professionals do this. So that doesn't work because that just gets us to there. So I don't think I can go from that corner round to that corner, which means we're going to be doing a bit of a weird shimmying of things. So that would mean that we pop that there, but that doesn't make sense because then I'd be going, the cables have to go that way, and the end of this needs to, basically, that needs to go into there. And that needs to come out. We know that this needs to come last. Oh, goodness gracious. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Fallback position is that we just do what we already had and just have that. So there's no big disaster on this. I might just have to end up swallowing my pride. We'll see how it goes. But that looks like a good top layer. We're not going to string that all the way under. It's just not going to happen. If instead, what if we popped that there? Again, if you actually know what you're doing with your leads, don't crucify me. I'm just trying to make this work in the meantime. I don't think this one is actually going to end up needing to be on here. The issue there is that would then need to start going around the other way. Now, could that work? What if we looped that under? Would our next one be a top load? It would be a top load. This might work. Probably won't, but it might work. It's the issue that I've got is that the pedal board that I've always used has only ever been one line long. No, that doesn't work. That definitely doesn't work. So Right. We've got a bit of a conundrum. We've got a bit of a conundrum, which is for my head to work around this. There probably is a way of doing this backwards. For my understanding of this, I need to have everything going right to left on both sides, on both tiers of this. I'm not sure if I can without having a really, really long cable, but not like, we're talking really long cables. I've got, this is like a proper cable. I'm not going to wrap a huge one of these underneath the bottom of this just so I can loop it back around. Let's see what our friends on the Google search say, shall we? This is a dead end. It's a dead end, and we will have, well, not learned anything, but we will have got somewhere. We will have got somewhere. Have a nice sleep. Lovely to chat with you, Jack. I'll see you next time, hopefully. But yeah, enjoy. Enjoy your sleep. Have nice dreams. So let's look at pedalboard. How would you Google this? How would you Google this? Double layer pedalboard. Wiring. See how that works. Now that living a 2-level pedalboard. Some of those are actually tiered. Oh god, people actually do like ones where there's one physically on top of the other. Now, I think part of the issue is I'm possibly trying to put too much on this as well. Whereas if I split everything up a bit and didn't necessarily have to use all of the real estate, then I'd have a bit more to play with. Okay, let's do away with the Q-tron. Do away with the Tube Screamer. Be cool. It would be cool. Let's do away with that. Let's also... No, let's keep this down to this, basically. So we've got this little guy, which is the mixer, volume pedal, EQ. We could do without the EQ, but I do like having that. And I might not even need that for either of them. Because one of them are going to be going into a proper full-on sound system, which is EQ'd. Or they'll have like a sound guide. And the other one I'm going to be going into my own amp, so I can EQ on there. So maybe we'll get rid of that. Let's do minimum viable product. Those three plus these three. Which also means rather than... Yeah, okay. This is starting to make a bit more sense there. Let's see if we can get our minimal viable product here, guys. Where we would go... Let's try and stagger these. Let's try and stagger them. One day I'll take all my stuff to a proper person who actually knows what they're doing, and they'll be like, "This is horrific. What have you done there?" So if that goes out into there, then we go. That then goes out into there. And that can come out into... God, which way round do I do it? Yeah, that goes out into there. That goes out into there. That is actually working quite nicely. And then that would then go out into there. I reckon that might be our minimum requirements. of the pedal. That is really badly framed as well. Hang on, let me get everything straight. I reckon that might work. The only things missing from there, again, EQ, which can be handled off stage. Overdrive, which I very, very rarely need anyway. Most of this stuff's going to be clean tones. This, which is just quite cool and funky, but again, don't really need. And then for the other one where I'm going to need this guy, maybe I just have it off separately. Maybe I'll just sit it next to it, because this takes up huge amounts of real estate. No, okay. For that other one, yeah, no, okay. I know what I'm doing. I think I know what I'm doing. This is what we're doing for the improv sets, for the ambient stuff. So we've got my cool guitar I can use, and it can go into a volume swell, have an octaver, have a reverb to make lots of nice washy things. That to make the to extend things even further, so I can use volume swells. This so I can just make everything sing underneath it. That would be really cool. And then for the other set where I need the loop station, I will use a normal acoustic. So I will get rid of this. Shall I move it back down again? So I get rid of that because I'll be using a normal acoustic, so I won't need the mixer. I'm not going to be trying to make washy atmospheric stuff, so I can get rid of that, which then means I've got enough room to include that somehow. Yeah, I think that could work. So we'd lay that out. So we would go octaver. And as far as I'm aware, I do loop station last. I just assume that would be the way to do that. Then we do reverb. Then we do delay. We do the TC thing there. And that's too big. That is just too big. Also going to massively... That's an interesting one. That is a really interesting one. What if I put some of them sideways? I could put this sideways really easily. Smashed it. I have to be really careful not to hit these little knobs with my feet when I'm using this. But I reckon that works. In fairness, I could probably put some others. I could probably just put that sideways as well. Just put it all sideways, basically. And that going into there, that going around into there, that's going to be really messy, but it'll work. Pop you like there in the middle. Yeah, okay. The minimum requirements work on both. I said that I'd build these, but we're coming up on an hour. So I may as well just cut this after like another minute. And you can just trust that I'll do a really good job of wiring everything up. Probably won't, but I'll do a job of some kind. Thank you very much for watching. I'll probably do some more of these. It's been quite fun, actually. It's been more fun than just sitting, doing it by myself, talking to myself, but not having a camera recording while I'm talking to myself. So thanks very much. Leave all of my mistakes that you've noticed in the comments, and I'll see you next time. I've been Will Dixon. Enjoy.